Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Alonso Duralde, William Bibbiani, the season finale of the first season of The Affair. Take a look.
No one ever really knows what's going on in anyone else's marriage, right?
You going back to Cole?
I want you to come home. I can't do this alone.
You have any leads yet, Detective?
Nothing has panned out yet.
Perfect.
He took advantage of it.
I'm telling you, I asked him to.
You! Stop staring at him! What the f is wrong with you?
Does anything mean anything to you?
Cole, please. Cole! What are you doing?
Not exactly sure yet.
Well, you called it.
Yeah. No resolution.
No resolution.
No
I thought
resolution
maybe
whatsoever.
season 2 it would be like True Detective and it'd be a different affair.
Yeah,
But
that's
nope,
what I thought
it's going
too.
to be this one still.
It could have been very satisfying, but I think all we know for sure now is that Noah didn't do it. If watching The Killing has taught me anything, it's that the person
The guy who gets
who is
arrested.
arrested at the end of the first season is not the killer, of course. Well, how could they be? It would be such a rip if we're not going to find out until later.
Right, but he is hiding something.
Well, he's hiding something, but he's very protecting
He wouldn't be
someone.
bribing the mechanic. Well, that's of course always been the thing that the two stories are different, and it's like, are they trying to save their own skin? Are they trying to save each other's skin?
Yeah, are they trying to save Maura Tierney's skin, maybe? Like, seriously, it could just be literally anyone. Like, maybe
Sure.
the son did it,
Yeah.
or something. Like, literally anyone. It's just got to be someone who they care enough about to protect.
Right.
That's the only thing that matters.
And we are definitely, in this final episode, strangely enough, after several weeks of things either fairly coinciding closely or at least just being completely different, stories
Perspectives,
entirely.
yeah.
We're back to things not matching.
Huge difference. Okay, so
Yeah.
at the end of Noah's segment, he finds out that Koch brother number 2 was in the house, beats the crap out of him on the lawn, and then Pacey pulls out a gun.
Right.
And then at the end,
In Allison's version,
it all takes place in the kitchen. The brother never shows up, and
Yeah.
Pacey tries to kill himself.
after holding a gun on the whole
After
family.
holding a gun on the whole family. And a part of me was really fascinated by that because it gave him a way to have a big cliffhanger finale, but also resolve the cliffhanger finale within the finale of the
Sure,
season.
yeah.
Which is actually a very clever thing and something that really only The Affair could do.
Yeah, because it's
Which
not
is really cool.
it's not until the very end that we finally find out, okay, they are together now.
Yes, and
Because-
happy. They look cute together.
Sure,
I
yeah,
like
no.
them.
I mean, and all that stuff about like, I've got a sitter and like her clearly being better dressed and having her hair did and like having
Yeah.
some money.
Super adorbs.
It seemed like they were leading to those two being together, but then over the course of things, like, well, maybe they aren't, and there's
Well,
another.
what they did is they resolved at least one question, which
Sure.
is in the quote-unquote present day, where are they together? Are they apart?
Yeah.
Who knows? So they answered something, and that's why this wasn't like frustrating. It's still frustrating because I want to know, but like it's not frustrating because they ripped us off.
Yeah, no. I feel like they closed a loop, and so they've at least given us kind of a catharsis for this season and a jumping off point for the next one.
Yeah. And I would like to say, you can always tell you're watching one of the best shows on TV when there's a montage of Dominic West fucking everything that moves and destroying his career. God, I miss The Wire. I miss The Wire so bad. It was right out of The Wire. It was weird, actually. It was very funny.
And it's funny, I would normally say that Animal song they put under it was a little too on the nose, but it was a song I'd never heard before, so I was like, okay,
But
well, that works.
It was good, and I liked the way that they juxtaposed the way that he felt after his marriage was separated was like the ending of Staying Alive. You know what I'm going to do now? Strut. And she's like meditating and like sort of getting back together with her mom.
Right.
It's a very, very different, and it shows you kind of what they were both after from that affair in the first place. He was sort of frustrated and wanted to act out, and she was looking for something more real. I mean, she has that speech about how like there was that one moment, it was the most erotic thing in my life.
Sure, yeah.
And her friend or cousin, who was she? I think they mentioned it like 9 episodes ago when like they were at her house, and I don't know. But like, and she was like, yeah, well, that moment didn't exist, and that was.
Oh, that's the house where they were house sitting. Okay, I didn't put that together. I think it's a friend.
It was just a
I think
friend.
it's a
Okay, because
friend.
it seemed very intimate.
But
I was
I'd
kind
have
of like,
to go back and
"What?"
look. Yeah.
Yeah. The other, a lot of good moments in this, and the other one I liked was when Noah's talking to his agent, and the agent says, "Do you miss your wife?" And he says, "Not yet." which is a really, really good. There's often a moment after any breakup, doesn't have to be a marriage, where you just feel great and liberated, and then like 2 weeks later you're like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
they even flirt with the idea of getting back together, which is. It was so sort of that kind of husbands and wives moment of like, yeah, you're terrible, but not you is even worse.
I don't know what to do without you.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah. Like I'm so we've established this comfortable pattern, and so now to then have to go date again or to have to raise these kids by myself or whatever. Suddenly, you're tolerable. Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it. Here's my question: he gets in trouble for fucking on school grounds, as well he should. Why didn't the lady? It takes two to have sex in a public school.
Who knows? Maybe she resigned in disgrace or something. I don't know.
I just felt it was a little sort of a question mark.
I was surprised. I was surprised that he didn't get where he'd been sent, because I've heard of that room. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Where a lot of times, if you're a New York teacher and you are in some sort of bureaucratic bind. Yeah, it's true. Like people will spend years in there waiting to find out, to have the next thing, and they have to show up every day and clock in and clock out, or to get credited for the hours there.
Absolutely,
so.
and I think it's a sort of thing where it's like it may not be natural to the character, but the audience might not know exactly what that is.
Sure, no.
You
but
have to explain it. It's kind of
I guess, but it was. I just was thinking like you would know what that is, and there's another way to walk you through it. But whatever, that's a minor thing.
It's fine. How did you feel about the gay reveal? We find out that the detective has like a husband or something.
I missed that.
Okay, it's when he's looking over he's got Noah's like on recorder, and it says like Steve's on the line. And he says it's urgent, and he says okay, and he says hey babe, and now because he'd been telling everyone that he was married and that he had kids. He might actually be married. I don't know, but like they had never indicated that he was gay before. So didn't know if that was a thing or not. Okay, I'm still reeling from Avatar: The Legend of Korra this week, so there you go.
We're taking over television.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Looking season 2 coming up in January, and we'll be recapping them. Yes. Anyway, so I just a lot of cool stuff. I liked how the younger kids were like, "Yay, Daddy," and the older ones were like,
Yeah. Oh, there was another great moment where the son stood up to his dad, and that's a moment that every person I think understands. That moment when you stand up to a parent and they don't tear you down. That moment when he was just like, guys, just go. Right. Take care of it. I'll take care of everything here. Well, and Dad's just like, okay, yeah. And that's the moment that kid became an adult.
Yeah.
That's that moment.
And also there's that great moment where the other kids tell the mother-in-law, like, quit picking on Dad,
Yeah, that was a really good moment.
Because I think a lot of times, when kids are caught in that situation, you have to hear somebody who's related to you, but on the different side, bad-mouthing the one parent or whatever, and I'm sure he probably, obviously endured a lot of shit from those in-laws over the years at that fucking house, I
didn't realize I married my mother. Oh my God, that was a good line.
Man,
holy crap.
There's every one of every time she really talks about what their relationship is, it's like, oh, don't say it out loud. Really,
really
just
brutal.
don't.
All right, so one season down. What are your thoughts overall, and where do you want to go from here? What do you want to see?
Oh man, I'm in. I think this show is really great, and I think that I wish more people were watching it because I think the characters are so interesting. And it's funny, when I was doing my top 10 list this year, I was saying that this was the year of movies that sounded gimmicky, but then were actually really good. Like Boyhood sounds gimmicky, Birdman sounds gimmicky, Locke sounds gimmicky.
And they are gimmicky, but they're good.
And they are, but if you're using that gimmick to sort of enhance good storytelling and not to hide shitty storytelling, then it's not a gimmick anymore. And so, but you know what I mean.
It's a selling point. I consider it a gimmick, but whatever.
It's not a gimmick in a bad way. I'll say it that way.
There you go.
So I would say that The Affair is not a gimmick in a bad way. Which even though when it started, it seemed a little like mannered or whatever in its structure, but they're using it interestingly, and I think even if you told this story fairly straightforwardly, it would still be an interesting one.
I think it would be very, very interesting, but I think it's
augmented by the difference in perspective and
Yeah, I can say this is one of the best shows on television as far as I'm concerned, if not the best right now. Yeah. It's just so astute about, honestly, just about human nature in a way that goes beyond the sort of the plot and the sexiness and the murder and all of that stuff is just sort of incidental to the idea of we're going to use this framing device to really just illustrate these people's lives in the way like a catastrophic event can wreck families.
Sure, yeah.
And catastrophic in in a fair type way, not in a
Yeah.
and it's so intelligent and it's so insightful and holy crap, I love this show.
What's really
Please start watching it.
I think
Tell your friends.
I think the people watching us are watching the
Right,
show.
but you're not telling your friends, and that's the problem. Tell people about Fight Club.
Yeah, get them on whatever the Showtime equivalent of HBO Go is, and make them watch it. Also, I think a lot of stories would happily wrap it up with. And then I sold my book for a bunch of money, and they made a movie out of it, and I got the girl that I was having the affair with.
And
in
you've
the
just
end,
been
it's
watching
great.
the book.
Yeah,
Oh, I hate that ending and everything.
Well, no, that would be awful. But
please
just the
don't.
idea that is somehow okay. The end. We're done now, and it's no. We're clearly not, and not in a way that I feel like what they're going to squeeze another season out of this. No, there's tons of story left to tell here.
It just keeps spiraling out now.
Yeah.
Because for a couple episodes, it looked like it could have been winding down. And it looks like we could probably finish all this up pretty easily. And then the last couple episodes, it was just like no, but then she's pregnant and everything's going nuts.
Right. So now we're going to have obviously the murder investigation, maybe a trial, maybe not. What happens to Noah and Allison as a couple in the real world?
What happens to Whitney?
What happens to Whitney? What happens to Mortierney? What happens to the Koch brothers? I mean, the surviving ones and Cherry, because obviously they are now, they went from like having this business and this ranch and this, cocaine smuggling thing, and now they're all destitute and homeless. So who knows?
What if Noah and Allison are raising Whitney's child? We'll find out next season.
I guess
on
we
The
will.
Affair.
So thanks for joining us this time around, and we hope you'll catch up with us again on season 2.
Thanks for having this affair with us.